All right, welcome everyone. Colleen and I are here to talk all things ADD, ADHD, and our children. What we've learned from our different approaches and the solutions that we have found for our kids that work. And we want to just hop on and share that with you. So if you're here live, drop a live below and let us know. And if you're watching it on the replay, just drop a replay. Let us know that you're here. I think that as parents, we can all agree that the struggle is real when you're first informed that your child has ADD or ADHD and they're a quote unquote problem in the classroom, and there's just a flood, I think, of emotion that happens and confusion with what to do. It's a stigma, it's a label, and nobody needs a label. So what do we do? Colleen, will you share your story and your experience with this?
Absolutely. Thanks, Dana. And yeah, it's super overwhelming as moms. I remember back, my son was 5, 6, and, he's 23 now. So it's still fresh in my mind how overwhelming and how stressful it is to navigate this process of helping your child. So Eamon was like 5 years old, preschool, pre-K, all the early learning teachers kind of raising the red flag with us.
Saying what? Like, what were they saying to you?
He's not focusing. He's distracted. He's not paying attention to instructions. He's not standing in line. And I thought, part of me was just like, he's a little boy. Yeah. But, I was kind of seeing the same kind of things at home, like not being able to follow through with, just simple tasks and go pick up your room or stuff like that. So we went on this path, for the next, I say 18 years of trying to understand this diagnosis, first of all, and how to kind of treat it. And we took him to, starting with a pediatrician, specialists, psychiatrists, getting him evaluated, one teacher meeting after the other. And
when you leave those teacher meetings, like, aren't you emotionally just spent?
Yeah. Because, there were some, teachers more, embracing it more. Others kind of just, roll their eyes like, yeah, he's not turning in assignments, and it was frustrating. All the way through grade school, middle school, high school. But back to kind of how to treat this, all the specialists, all the doctors were pointing me in one direction. One direction. And I was doing my research as well, but at that time, there were no other solutions, no other alternatives than this one solution. And that one solution, what I'm going to say, is pharmaceutical meds. And, it scared me to do that. But,
Did you find one that instantly worked and kind of solved the riddle moving forward?
You know what? Not really. We jumped. We kind of were trying to dodge all the side effects. So we started with one. For him at that age, it was hard for him to swallow pills too. So that was another hurdle to jump over. Is crushing up the pills, disguising it, taste awful, following him into the nurse's office to try to get him to drink it in the elementary school. It was horrific process. And we jumped around and tried every single one to try to find one without side effects. And, some of his side effects were, kind of typical of what you hear is loss of appetite, sleeplessness, that zombie-like state, that flattened personality. And that's the one that really got me, like, just, it broke my heart because my little boy was this kind of prodigy musician at the time. Yeah. Musically talented, and it just kind of flattened his personality.
Yeah, we only tried one pharmaceutical, and we tried a few different doses of that same drug, but it was the same thing. It was, you were a zombie. And he recognized that he was a zombie. He said, "Mommy, I don't like the way that I feel. I don't like the way that I feel. And it broke my heart to watch him. And so we very quickly gave up on that. So once you found a solution, that kind of something that you could stick with for the time.
Yes. And, yes and no, because, it was kind of a double-edged sword too for us, because I was stressed and worried about giving him the meds, but I was also stressed and worried about not giving him the meds and the alternative, him kind of failing through school and, and struggling. The struggle was real. The 4 hours sitting at the kitchen table trying to do homework and just kind of his head just like down like that. And so we ended up going to a lower dose of just the time release. So it only stayed with them for like 4 hours just to get something done. Now these meds, they do come with, harsh warnings too. And I remember one of the doctors telling us, because he also put him on a drug at night to kind of shut his brain down. So now we're treating.
You're turning it on.
Yeah.
And you're turning it off. Right.
We're treating one of the side effects now. Yeah. And he actually warned us, like, you only want to take one of these because it slows your heart rate down. You don't want to go into cardiac arrest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, the side effects and warnings are real. And when parents are only given this one option, it just really kind of...
It breaks your heart. So for us, we had the one option. We tried it. It didn't work. I started to target natural solutions. So it's, okay, clean up our diets. No sugar, nothing that's going to make you spin like a top. Red dye 40 is linked to, just enhancing the ADHD mind. So get rid of red dye, pesticides. We went all organic. Lots of exercise so that you can kind of get all the bugs out.
At that time, remember this is like 18 years ago, there was a book that I got on, a gluten-free diet and, autism.
Yeah.
And it's related. It's all, it's the food, what we put in our body, kind of travels up to the brain. It's all related.
Yeah. And it makes sense for like looking back at time. For me, he had as a baby ear infection after ear infection after ear infection. So probably, like an embarrassing number of antibiotics per year for 3 to 4 to 5 years in a row, because you're getting ear infection after ear infection. That's all you're doing is adding antibiotics. He had his adenoids removed, maybe at age 3 or 4 to kind of help with that. And he had a milk intolerance.
He had the same thing.
Yeah.
Aamen in the NICU had antibiotics. He was treated with antibiotics in the NICU. Yeah. And then the umpteen ear infections. One antibiotic after another. And, now we know what that does to our gut, the antibiotics.
Right. And if you don't heal your gut afterwards, after the course of antibiotics, and people talk about, okay, you've taken a course of antibiotics, now go take a probiotic. Okay, awesome. Well, which one? No one is prescribing which one, and probiotics are very strain specific for what you're looking for. So, even if I had given him the chewable probiotics that I was buying at the grocery store, because I had the whereabouts to know, okay, this is not like, this is what we should do next, it still didn't move the needle.
Yeah.
We still
had, I remember being told, like, put him on an omega. That's not, and we do, I'm a very health conscious, mom. Right. And we did the same thing with diet and everything. But, it was until Aamen was going into his senior year in college. So this stayed with him. Think about it. It stayed with him all through school. He would always tell me, Mom, I'm just not good at school. But, he got through. And that's the big thing here. He just got through high school. He got into the college of his choice. He just kind of got through college. And going into his senior year, when I was introduced to this whole idea of healing the gut, we jumped all in. And he was so open-minded because, he wanted to feel better.
Yeah. And he's aware. He's at this point in time, he's a grown human. Yeah. And he understands that he doesn't feel well. And I think you and I were talking about this before, how when you struggle with ADD or ADHD, it's so linked to anxiety because they're not dumb. Like, our kids are not dumb. They're human beings with feelings and, are very self-aware to the fact that other people are judging you and other people are saying, okay, well, you're not good at school.
Yeah.
You can't remember to turn in your homework. So they're taking that shame on themselves, and it's now creating anxiety.
I know. Yeah. So, his senior year, going, second semester or, first semester senior year, went on it. He told his, doctor not to write his ADD script. Mm-hmm. He's a grown up now he goes to his own appointments. Yeah. No, don't write the script. And I said, are you sure? And, just have it as a backup. He's like, no, Mom, I'm really feeling good. And he was working at a restaurant, busy, chaotic scene at the restaurant, and taking on a full course senior year. And the pandemic hit. But at the restaurant, his manager asked him, why are you, so positive and calm? And that's something. That is something. Yeah. And for the first time in his whole entire school career, all A's and B's, highest GPA, finished off, graduated from college with his highest GPA. Yeah. It was just like win-win.
Yeah. All by healing his microbiome, by healing your gut, by getting that gut-brain connection to work for you instead of against you. He's got remarkable results from that.
Yeah. Yeah. And now he's just sharing his story with others, and, helping other kids out. And it's remarkable. It's remarkable.
Because there are other solutions out there. So for us, it was more around 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade that were our really troublesome years where he was constantly getting kicked out of class. Like, you can't sit there. There's too many distractions. You're not turning in your homework. And his self-esteem was going into the toilet. And so at the same time that his self-esteem was going down, I'm trying to figure out what kind of pharmaceutical drug we're going to choose to go on, playing with the doses of that. And then I was introduced to the same gut health solution, or the thought that maybe you could heal yourself internally. And probably 3 or 4 months into healing his microbiome, I had emails from teachers thanking me for finally listening to what they were begging me to do. And at that moment, I was like, wow.
Right. They're thinking you're medicating him.
Yes, because he's finally able to function in the classroom. And when you're talking to him, he's able to settle his mind and say, okay, all right, I'm on it. I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to get it done. And it's just amazing. It's amazing because our kids are not broken. They're not broken. They just need help.
And they can be themselves and succeed. That's what my son, he just feels like he's himself. He's accomplishing things. He's engaged and focused and still able to do his music. And it's great.
Right. And all we've done is heal that gut-brain connection. So you're taking all of the nutrients so that your gut, your microbiome is nourished and flourished and working for you. And then it's signaling your brain to say, hey, let's do this homework. Hey, let's do whatever. And that communication highway is in full effect. And that is saving our kids. It's an alternate holistic solution that doesn't require pharmaceuticals that have side effects. There are no side effects. The side effects are that you're happier because you have more serotonin and dopamine in your brain. You have a little bit more energy and you can sleep on your own rather than having to then take another something.
I know. They're focused, they're happy, they're resilient, and it's just, and whether your child has a diagnosis or not, these nutrients are great for the growing minds and you are just populating your body and feeding your